Okay, we're going to open the meeting back up. We're going to start with, we're going to start with old business. Do you have any minutes or?
Start with the cruiser.
Okay, all right, so we'll go down to the cruiser under old business. So an update on insurance settlement and replacement options. So,
Yes.
oh, yeah, that's right. That's why you're here.
That's why I'm here. Yeah, more info.
Come on
Good
up.
evening.
Good evening.
So we did get some numbers back from Maya on the replacement value of the cruiser that was in the accident. The number they came back with was 36, well, it was 37 with a $1,000 deductible, so it comes back to 36 and change. That'll pay for a replacement cost. I have the number here, exact number here somewhere, but it's like 36.
36,778.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all 37.
There is still some of the equipment in the car, such as the video camera and tablet and body camera, because those were not equipped with the car when it was new. It may go on a separate equipment claim as opposed to a vehicle claim. So those I emailed today, and those are still being worked on with the appraiser. So there may be some more replacement coming for those, but it's just too soon to say. But the vehicle's pretty much, that inspection's completed. The vehicle's still at the station, and the next step for them to move forward is to provide them with the title, and they'll make the payout on that.
Okay.
As far as a replacement on that, there is one blue 2019 available in the state on the state contract bid at MHQ, who we normally buy our cruisers from. They have a slow lead time for equipment, like so slow they wouldn't even say if it would be within a month or 3 months. There's a new vendor that's already open in Holyoke. They're working in conjunction with Marcotte Ford, who has some state bids. Right now they're doing a lot of highway trucks, and they're equipping vehicles, highway vehicles there. It's a nationwide company, so they also do emergency vehicles, cruisers and stuff. They're, prior to this Holyoke store opening, they were in Hudson, New Hampshire, and they were doing a lot of the mass vehicles that were purchased from other dealers other than MHQ. So they are willing to do it like ASAP, because they don't really have any police cars in there now. There's just some highway pickups or whatever the state bid is for highway department. So they have the experience. They have a big warehouse in Florida that they ship all their parts out of. Most everything's in stock. So the what I'd like to do is get the car from MHQ and not have them do the equipment upfit, just sub it out to this other agency that would do the build. I mean, they're competent and they're all pretty much the same.
You have pricing on those?
Yep, so the marking, since the car would be coming from MHQ, and since they've done 2 of the 3 markings already, I would have them do the graphics, because it's already there. They know how to do it. It'll match perfectly. So what I would propose is them to do the markings, sell the vehicle, and then bring the vehicle to Global. That's the equipment upfitter. But it looks like at this time it'd be about 8,000 short for a fully equipped car to get back up and running. So we would need to,
So it'd be about 44.
about
8.
that, yeah. And there's still, we haven't really taken things off of the car yet, because of the appraiser's visit and stuff. But obviously, I'm sure there's some stuff that we can transfer that wasn't compromised. Probably equipment-related stuff like first aid kits and stop sticks and those types of things.
Any idea, estimate what you're looking at for insurance for the equipment that we were talking about a second ago? Or?
The high side of that would be $10,000, but it's, I can't really even say.
So if we got
So
half
that
of
would
that,
get us
that would-
there.
We get us over,
Yeah,
actually, but
if we got half of that, it would,
we're
be
still looking
close
about
to the-
3,000.
yeah,
So-
potentially,
But some of that stuff you're gonna have to buy, you're gonna have to replace.
right,
There
Right.
was some things damaged.
correct.
So there's only, you said there's only one car right now in inventory?
One blue 2019, that's, I mean, most of the 2019s are, they're not making them
Right.
anymore, it's what's on the lot that you can find. I mean, there's some black ones out in Plymouth, I think, but,
But color-wise isn't gonna change the price
no.
appreciably.
I mean, the theme was to kind of go with the same color blue car that I have. And then, as you know, the 2013, we marked that from being an unmarked, and
So
we're
is
gonna
the-
paint a 5-year-old car for,
Sorry to interrupt, but.
No.
I was gonna say, so the insurance quote is ready to go.
ready
So
to go.
if we,
All we have to do is
all we
sign
have
the
to do is
title
just-
and send it to them, and they'll either pay the vendor direct, or they'll compensate the town.
so the only difference would be paying for the install, the subbing out, the install of the equipment,
Mhm.
and then waiting to hear what basically what we're gonna get back from the insurance in terms of,
Of the supplemental equipment that
Okay.
wasn't, yes.
and that's kind of the question mark right now.
It's the question mark,
Yeah.
but some will go to
Yeah.
replacement, and
So would the thought be to backfill or basically front load through something like the NMH account to be able to purchase and get the car equipped and then put it back in when
we'd
the
only have
insurance
to
comes?
purchase the equipment,
Right.
because the cruiser will be covered for.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, yeah, right, no, it'd just be literally coming up with the,
you got a wet nose.
with
I wasn't expecting
the
that.
8 or 10,000 or whatever to
That's just
get the
bonus for
equipment.
showing up.
Yeah,
Yeah, NMH gift account would be the logical choice there.
There has been talk over the years, each time we've purchased a cruiser, that the next one would likely be the hybrid cruiser or something, trying to go in the direction of more fuel efficient.
mhm.
What are the options at this point?
Well, those are still on order status, with delivery in late July or August, and then you're at the back of the line for build time from everybody else that's got orders in.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, the oldest car in our fleet,
Will be the 09.
no, it's a 13
Right.
with about 80,000. I mean,
Oh, it's the 13? Okay.
yeah, we had two 13s for a little bit, very little bit. That certainly could maybe even bring in some potential value as a sale, while it's not totally destroyed with mileage and rot and everything else, and could bring that online there, certainly.
Well, and I think prior to this accident, and even when we bought the Deerfield Cruiser, that was the whole idea, was gonna help us
Right, bridge that gap. a
bridge
little
that
bit.
year or two till these things come out and are proven,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'd be looking at a 21 probably, or something in that area, but.
Yeah, I mean, I've been going to all the dealer Ford things with the test drives and stuff, and while they didn't have this model, they had two others there. The Interceptor one, when it does come out, certainly seems very viable. I mean, but the problem also is that the money goes up big time,
Yeah.
like $8,000 just for the base car. So, I mean, potentially you'd make some of that savings on fuel, but in this dynamic where it's a replacement for something that was pre-existing, then that would kick them out Herman money if you chose that up another 8,000 to make up the difference.
Yeah, I was just looking at trying to take advantage of the opportunity. You got a little friend here.
Oh. I don't do spiders.
You don't do
I got a spider, I got a wet nose. It is April Fool's, so.
Yeah. Thanks.
Sure. Anytime.
But we've just been kind of status quo since then, and it's coming up on a month, and
Yeah.
we're walking around it every day in the garage bay, and pretty used to it, but sick of looking at it at this point.
So after they get the title, they'll,
I assume we could probably drag it out back, and they'll have a salvage company remove it.
okay.
They'll let us strip anything that we
Yes,
think
yes,
is.
yep, yep, we've already kinda got Officer Kimball and myself on standby to start that, but we really need direction before we get too involved with it.
So in the year and a half that you've been our chief and keeping your eye on the department, what are we putting for mileage on each one of the vehicles? Is it about 11,000 each still?
Roughly, yeah, yep, I mean, if this, replacement gets purchased, we'll be in very good standing for a while unless we want to upgrade for fuel reasons. But the 2013 would then be the backup car to the full-timers and the primary car for the part-timers. And so I could see probably another 5 years before we needed to do anything,
Right.
which, with the prices going up the way they are, this is gonna be the last car you're gonna get that's in the 20s, so.
Do I hear any motions?
Well, we can move, but we can still discuss.
Of course. Just trying to keep it going.
Yeah.
And make a motion to authorize the purchase of the cruiser at MHQ. For Ray to execute. That's,
And I'll second that motion.
Further discussion?
So, getting back to the mileage thing,
Mhm.
if the 2013 with 80,000 miles was moved to primary for the part-timers and backup for the full-timers,
Mhm.
you feel that would still get 11? Because isn't that doing a fair number of less shifts in a week than?
It is, I mean, normally we have, our part-time shifts, sometimes we run 12 hours, so, but there's usually 2 shifts a week. Part-time officers are fairly motivated and tend to be more active with patrol and less on follow-up investigations or meetings or administrative stuff like myself, so, I mean, I think there would still be, I meant to bring the mileage of how many miles we put on that car from, I think it went online around Halloween after it was marked, and March 10th was the collision, so I think it was 3,000 to 3,500 put on in those.
just over 4 months, so
Yeah,
yeah,
Right on
so
pace.
it's right about on pace.
10 to
I mean,
11.
Yeah, and if we move on doing something for a vehicle now, I'd like to think that we'd be quite a while before we move on a vehicle again.
And I think this has an up, and the upside is we're going to get a cruiser that should last us 10 years
Right,
for little money, with the insurance picking up most of it.
right,
The downside is it does delay
yeah,
the purchase of a hybrid, which in my mind, before this, I would have said, you know, we're looking at one in about 2 years.
Mhm. Yep. And I wouldn't necessarily want to go the direction of purchasing a hybrid in 2 years and displacing
Right.
the 2013. You know, I'm fine with it delaying the hybrid, I think.
Well, but I mean, you could also get maybe $5,000 for it then instead of holding on to it for,
Till it's worth nothing.
yeah,
Yeah,
get something out of it.
yeah, and I tend to wanna wait. I mean, I don't really, I don't, or, I'm not trying to say, I have not had good luck with buying models that have come out the first year,
Yeah,
personally, so
Yeah.
I'm a little gun shy about that kind of stuff.
yeah.
I don't like first-year models of anything.
I've my entire life told everybody not to do that, and I just did it a couple of years ago.
It's
It's worked fine for me so
Good.
far.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, knock on Formica.
I also think sometimes you pay a premium for those anyways. People are, there's a lot of hype around it, and
Mhm.
Yeah, new style.
anyway. We ready? Any further discussion?
No.
Ready? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, I'll go aye.
Between
I'm
you and
going aye
Chris, you'll
because
make
we
it
need three
happen.
vehicles.
Yeah. Oh, I knew what the end result was
Yeah,
going to be. It's just,
Yeah, I
I
agree with you.
didn't know how much I wanted to put myself in the way of it.
Yeah.
I think we need 2 or 2.5, not 3.
Well, I think we
I
need
think we
2.5,
decided
but
before-
I would rather
therefore-
We
be.
decided it was like 2.63, but.
Yeah.
We've got a half right now, it doesn't run
Yeah,
very
it's
well.
not, it's not doing as much.
That's where I was just gonna go. The .63 is not helping us at all.
No,
It's a great paperweight.
if you wanna tow it to the scene and leave it there, but yeah, we better get AAA.
You better get that good AAA for that one.
Okay, is there anything, you got anything else for us?
I don't, that's all I have. Hopefully that'll keep us content for a while.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you very
Well, I
much.
think it's absolutely fortuitous that we got that good deal on that South Deerfield cruiser.
Mm.
And thank you for making that happen.
Yeah.
And, unfortunately, this happened, but
Yeah.
in some ways it's fortunate too.
Right,
So, let the town win what they can with it.
Well, gratefully, since the officer that was driving it wasn't hurt, we can say that.
Well,
you know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And none of the
We-
people in the
right.
car either.
right.
That we, yeah.
That's the
This would
important thing.
feel very differently if someone was, so.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thank you.
you.
Thanks for coming in.
Enjoy
Thanks,
the rest
Chris.
of your evening.
Yep, I will. You gentlemen as well.
You wanna go back up, or do you,
Yep, we can go
minutes?
one set of minutes from March 25th, which was the fire truck meeting.
Which I do need to do, is just quickly.
While he's perusing, I'll make a motion to approve.
I guess I'll second because you weren't there. Oh, you
No,
were
he
there, you
was
came in
there.
late, that's right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'll
my-
second.
My
Yep.
apologies.
Sorry, I was busy and wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, this all looks right to me, so I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Project updates?
No updates.
Okay, move down to new business. Sign warrant for May 20th town election.
It's already, huh?
It's a coming.
You don't need a motion on these, right?
No. unless I get them back and it's only one signature, and then we'll try again.
As he's telling us we have to sign.
All right, annual town meeting, open on Monday, May 6th, or delayed start to June. While we're signing these, sorry. Forgot there's like 6 of them, right? So I'm jumping the gun.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Sorry. Now, annual town meeting.
Traditional opening would be first Monday in May, so May 6th. Certainly there won't be a budget ready to deal with that night. Hope to get going on those meetings probably mid-April. So really the question is there enough, or is it worth opening, doing whatever non-financial on May 6th, and then continuing until mid-June, or just delay the start and do it one night in June? For potential non-money articles, we had the offer of a gift of land from Mr. McComb. I'd still like to get out and walk that property with him before recommending one way or the other on that. There's an option that the town could take up a local sales tax on Airbnb, short-term rental. We've already got a optional sales tax in place for hotel motels, of which we have none. So that would be another potential non-money. There's a new contract coming up for the Springfield MRF, Municipal Materials Recycling Facility. So that's I think a 5-year contract with a 5-year extension, so that's a town meeting vote to do that. That being said, most of those items are 5 or 10 minute discussion.
We hope.
Likely.
Combined.
I mean, I lean towards just having one in June, but I
I
could be swayed
really
either way.
like to stick with that first Monday in May.
I know,
But I
that's-
just don't think it's,
I just think
I
it's,
don't think it makes sense to ask people to come out. We're gonna do it 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then come back out later.
Yeah.
I would stick with just the mid to late June, and
would we, I mean, do we have a date? I'm looking at my calendar right now. Would it be a Monday in June?
generally.
I mean, that's usually.
Mondays seem to avoid,
So we could do like maybe either the 10th or 7th. I don't want to get too late because of the school budget. Usually they want us to sort of know what our town meeting looks like. Because they have budgetary issues that come late in June going into the next year, from what I remember in the past years. Like, there's a reason for us not to go too late in June.
The 10th and 24th, we already have meetings, so one of them could either be, the 10th could be short meeting and then go into town meeting, or we could go the opposite week of the 17th.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, I think I'm fine with either one of those, and just making sure that.
I wouldn't want to go much later than the 17th if we could help it. I mean,
17th would make that work.
17th?
I'm fine with either one.
Okay, yeah, I am too.
I like the idea of the 10th just to get it done sooner, because we're already delaying it.
Mhm. I'm gonna put the 17th in my phone just in case, and then we'll go from there.
Okay.
Is there any kind of legal repercussion for not
No.
doing it in May. And we've always split it because,
Well, we haven't always
Because-
split it.
well, I mean,
Generally,
we've generally split it
because our money articles aren't ready.
because our money articles aren't ready, but we've never just moved the whole thing
We've moved the entire thing
as late as,
at least once or twice.
yeah.
I remember one year we had one, like, the 28th of June type thing. It
Thought
was
we had-
before either one of us
Thought that
wrote.
was this, okay.
So I think it usually comes down to just how many, non-budgetary
Mhm.
articles are on the
Mm-hmm.
agenda.
Yeah,
And
if we've
then
got
get them
enough, then
more.
we
Yeah.
split it, because
Or
the
anything.
budgetary is not ready.
Or anything contentious that we
Yeah.
think is gonna be
Right.
debated a lot, so.
So 10th or 17th, and Randy seems to be leaning towards the 17th.
Yeah, either one's fine with me, but
It just, we've done the other a couple of times, and it gets difficult because we're trying to finish up our meeting.
And people
and
are
people are
piling
starting
in.
to float in, conversations start happening, everything is,
Yeah.
it's just,
I think the 17th is, just considering we haven't even begun
Right.
our budget talks yet, which, for those that might be watching, that we've just had a holy host of things to deal with
Been a hell of a year.
in the town hall. That, I think hopefully most people understand why we've had a
Right.
delay.
I think one of the things, I might address two of those issues. I was gonna wait till the end of the meeting and ask, but give me an update if you can on the new treasurer and new town, tax collector. I know I've spoke to you privately a couple of times, but
There's certainly a huge learning curve for each of them. There's a lot more to those jobs than just at the surface level. There's, some days it feels like not a single tax payment can get made that doesn't involve some little twist or quirk or special exception or handling. Fortunately, that's not really the case. It just feels that way. And each one of those instances is it's a learning opportunity. That's going great with Tom. Peter's doing a great job picking up all of the different aspects of the treasurer job. I think we met with 3 or 4 different bankers last week, and not sales call meetings, but transferring the signatures of the accounts of all the different places that the town has transactions. So Peter's really coming on board very well also.
I'm sure there's also a transition from where things were left before to where things get picked up now.
Yeah. Yeah, the number or frequency of their questions on what do I do with, where is, who, it's like any other new job learning curve. We're really right at that turning point where they're hitting the ground now.
which has been a big reason why we haven't been able to start budget season and other things. Is
Yeah.
you've been extremely busy, and I know we've showed our appreciation, and I'll say it again, I really appreciate everything you've done to hold town hall together through all this, because it cannot have been easy.
There's a lot of variety to the job.
Variety's the spice of life. You have a spicy job.
That's such a nice way of putting it.
Yes.
Preference on start time for the 17th? 6:30, 7?
I would go earlier, just because it's gonna be a longer meeting, if we're trying to put everything into one meeting.
And I guess you'd have to check with the moderator to make sure he's available that night as well, obviously, but
6 seems like a good start. 6:37 feels a little late.
how about if we go, our preference is the 17th, but if the moderator's not available, the 10th would
The
be
10th,
our
yeah, that's fine.
second choice?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good idea.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. So we'll move on to appoint Board of Fire Engineers for May 1st through April 30th of 2020.
So the list presented to the select board, this is from March 21st. Today, the Board of Fire Engineers nominated the following candidates for appointment as members for the 2019-2020 year. Gene Bobian, Steve Connell, Jason Edson, Stuart Elliott, Andrew Howell, Greg Perotti, Ken Sears, Mitchell Waldron, and Dan Ware.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion?
You mentioned in your letter or email to us, and I don't remember the number, was it 7 of the 9? And a lot of people are always saying.
Seven out of the 9 live in Gill.
A lot of people are always saying a lot of the folks that are on the department don't necessarily live in town, but 7 of 9 of these engineers are
Living in
citizens of
town,
Gill,
yeah.
so that's,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Do we sign this, or you, no, just
No,
show it?
it's just you can see the names instead of just
Yep.
hear them.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay. Thanks. All right, Ken's Roadside Diner, food concession trailer, a 2019 license.
He is hoping to open up mid-April was the last I'd heard. I'd say so far the weather hasn't done anything weird enough to change that plan, I would hope.
And make a motion to issue the permit to him,
Second.
or license.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving down to town representative for the Gill Montague Regional School District teacher contract negotiations.
So with the school committee starting up the negotiation cycle with the teachers union, part of state law related to regional school districts is the member towns of the district can have collectively one representative to not necessarily be on the negotiating team, but be in on the school committee's updates in the executive sessions about progress of negotiations and right through to the end of voting on the proposed contract. So if there is interest in having a member, at this point Montague has not put forward any recommendation or suggestion for holding that representative seat. Negotiations have started, but still fairly early on. In an email exchange with Dr. Sullivan, he seemed to think it would be most likely that if there's a town representative, that person wouldn't be appointed to the negotiating committee, so it means you wouldn't have to attend each and every one of those meetings, which would be a godsend and a blessing, I would think. So the role would mainly be attending the school committee meetings, getting the updates. If there were pieces to report back to the 2 select boards, that would be done in executive session with one or both of those boards. And I guess my last comment is that the law is along the lines of may have a representative. It's not a must or a shall. So if we don't have someone to serve as the rep, then negotiations still move on and there is still a contract.
Any thoughts?
The town's had somebody do this for us, I think the last cycle or a couple of
About 3
cycles
years
ago.
ago, yeah.
I come into this one with a different feeling entirely, so I trust the school committee to do the negotiations and in the best interest of the school as well as the towns. And they haven't shown anything different than that. We've had a good relationship with the school committee, the administration, and the towns for a number of years now, so.
We don't have anyone actively seeking to.
It sounded like Ray was interested, but, you know.
You should
I thought maybe there
probably
was-
something
schedule a
about-
hearing check.
Something about the godsend part, I think.
Yeah.
I thought there was maybe somebody else here tonight that might be interested. I don't see anybody out there expressing any interest, I guess. No interest?
I'd be,
Yeah.
She's already on the school committee.
She's already on the school committee.
Do it.
I think, right below the law, I didn't totally hear what you said, but I think someone needs to be at the meeting where it's finalized to report back, whatever. To
That's a
vote.
legal requirement?
I think the representative has a vote. I know, years ago, Ann used to do it all the time. She even went to some of the meetings.
I think we're entitled to the vote. I don't think we have to fill it, but
Right.
Ray will double check on that and then
Right.
we'll change it. I don't, but
Although I don't, no, see, it would, I don't know if they did the last contract before I was back on the committee or not. But I can't remember anyone voting, but I can't remember voting it.
Yeah, I
I was gonna say, you know,
will
it's-
check what it is, what it calls for.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't remember what your status was, whether you were.
No, I would feel I was in conflict.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh, yeah.
on, I'm
Right.
not on that committee, I'm on GIC, that's not insurance.
And I was gonna say,
Yeah.
as someone that's in education, I feel like I already have enough meetings to go to. Between all the other things that I'm sitting on, that I don't think I can really realistically take this one on.
No,
Plus, I
if
might
it's
be a
just
little
the one
biased
meeting.
anyways.
well, if it's just the one meeting and depending on when it's scheduled, I'm sure we'll find one of us three that would have time
Might be able to do
if we
it.
have to, or
Yeah.
somebody from
If
Montague.
there's that
doesn't-
requirement.
If there's
to
that requirement,
Be at the
right.
meeting and
Yeah.
report back.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll make something happen between us and Montague. There'll
I
be
can
enough
help with
bodies.
it.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So nothing to act on at that point, at this point, excuse me. You ready to move down to, not a whole lot left here.
Not a whole lot left. You had a investment policy statement that Peter has suggested. He's asked to pull that off of this agenda. He read it through some more, and he's actually finding some other examples of investment policies that he likes better. So
Okay.
that'll come back to you in a couple
Okay.
of weeks, probably.
Okay.
Okay, good.
So down to public service announcements.
And one public service announcement, we have scheduled a retirement party for Ronnie LaChance. It's going to be Saturday, April 27th from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock at the Gill Church. So
Great.
please come on by, say hello, and wish her the very best.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
If there's nothing else, then that ends this portion of the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.